Short film roundup.
But first, a quick disclaimer. On Short Film Roundup, we review short films with the utmost honesty, sometimes brutal honesty. This means we may say things about your blood, sweat, and tears labor of love short film that aren't necessarily flattering. We do this because we believe it's the best way for you, us, and the entire short film making community to learn and grow. So don't take it personally. We have all made the same mistakes on our filmmaking journey, so if it ever appears that we are laughing at you, just know that we are also laughing at ourselves. Now on with the show.
Hi, welcome to Short Film Roundup.
That's D. You're supposed to introduce yourself. Try it
Hello,
again.
welcome to Short Film Roundup. My name is D.
And this is Kenny.
I am Taylor.
And we are here to review short films that were submitted to us by users like you.
Great.
So if you haven't done it so yet, you should submit your short films to us so we can do to your masterpiece what we're about to do to these poor suckers.
Yes. Thank you guys for giving us your films so we can just take them and just shred them into a million pieces.
Should you want to introduce our first film?
Yeah.
Let's get right into it, not messing around.
I guess so. There's no other announcements or anything we want to do?
Well, we have a Halloween episode coming up. And
Yeah.
thank you to all those who submitted their horror films for our Halloween special.
That one will be out on Halloween Day.
And it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
It'll be very scary.
And you can always get more involved with us over on Reddit, r/Carmeline Studios, and on our special elite exclusive Facebook group called Short Film Cooperative. Find it, ask to join, and come in to play.
And we just might let you in.
Yeah.
It's a cool club.
I don't let everyone in.
No.
I screen.
No. Yeah.
I screen.
Yeah. Some people have been turned away.
Most
have been turned away.
Can we begin?
No. Our first one for today is called HOPLITE 2000.
Whoopity-doo.
Are you quite well over there, Kenny?
Great.
Okay.
Let's watch it. Let's watch this movie.
First one is called HOPLITE 2000, directed by Ed Kirk. So here we go. We're going to watch it. Link is in the description. Click on it, watch it, and come back.
So, do you think they've seen it? I think they're done. I think they're done.
Excuse me. Quiet. Okay, so we're back.
Oh, hi.
Kenny's been dying to speak, so Kenny, tell me what you thought about HOPLITE 2000, sorry.
This movie was really cool and not good at the same time.
Hey, come
What?
on, dude.
That's the truth.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Why you gotta do them like that?
Why you gotta do them?
Look. This
Why you gotta
movie
do 'em?
is filled with cool, right? The opening shot of that city they had made. Is that a miniature?
Yeah.
That's definitely a miniature.
That's awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's really cool. And look, the film is brought to you by the Phalanx Corporation.
It even has the Blade Runner titles that come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like,
So look at that. That's rad. And this film was filled with rad things, but it was missing one very important thing to me, and that is a story.
And it seemed to have a story.
Nothing really happened here. Nope. Or at least whatever happened just didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It didn't. I never cared for the characters, and I wanted to so bad because this was all so cool. Or like the first time, every reveal, right, of new characters, I was like, my excitement just kept going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And then when the rest of the story sort of began to unfold, it was just like, so flat, you know?
Yeah, I definitely couldn't help but like I feel like there's a lot of movies that's taken this retro Kung Fury aesthetic and style and kind of parody of that 80s thing and ran with it. And this movie is no exception to that. And it has its funny moments.
Yeah, I laughed.
But
That's such a good shot.
yeah, like this moment, this whole beach stuff is great.
No, it was really beautiful.
Yeah,
But what are they doing?
I
you know?
would-
Is this supposed to be funny? Because it wasn't that funny.
Honestly, I did think it had a bit of a tone problem. But you were saying
Tonal
Taylor.
dissonance.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I don't know what it is exactly. It's just
Well,
it feels contrived. That's what it is.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, it kind of does. It's super stylized, but it does feel contrived.
Yeah.
The two styles that I got from here was like you were saying with the Kung Fury thing. They're really doing the whole 80s, and of course they're doing Blade Runner into it, this cyberpunk kind of thing. But also blaxploitation, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Dolomite kind of stuff. Where this I say that because the kung fu stuff that this guy does is reminiscent of the whole thing that they did with blaxploitation films, where the guys are just like doing little moves and like killing everyone because of it. Yeah. But like, I don't know. It didn't seem to understand which one it was going for, or that when they put them together, it didn't really mix because one was super serious and the other one was kind of goofy.
Too much going on at once and not committing to one thing.
Yeah, the aesthetic was freaking cool though.
Yeah.
But
it looked great from top to bottom.
And it
had
amazing.
some very good performances.
And very poor sound.
Yeah, there was
Very
some
poor
big
sound.
sound issues here.
The sound was bad.
There was
inconsistent, right?
Yeah. There was one moment where the two of the characters were having a conversation, and the ambient tone, the sort of, they were outside, so it's not room tone, but the sound of the environment disappeared when one of the characters spoke.
Yeah.
It was there when the other character spoke, but when the other one spoke, it just dropped out entirely. And things like that just break your immersion. I think it's that it's like it had so much silliness without going all in on being a silly movie.
Yeah.
And that's what made it sort of weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's its biggest problem.
You think it has to do with story?
I think the bigger problem is the lack of character development.
This is
right?
weird.
Like, the story that pans out here is okay. It would have been, or at least it would have been okay if they'd given me enough to invest in these characters.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I never cared what happened to our hero.
Well, so tell the audience a little bit about Kung Fury, because we all three really like Kung Fury.
Yeah.
And they do kind of what's similar to going on here. So tell me what makes that one different from like this one.
Well, in Kung Fury, for one, the main character has a clear motivation, right? Like at the very beginning, his partner gets killed, and you get this story going that shows like why he's driven to do what he does.
Yeah.
Right? And then on his quest, we have these obstacles put in front of him. They're all ridiculous obstacles, but they're obstacles nonetheless to where he's progressing to, which is his showdown with Hitler.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's already insane.
Yeah.
But in each one of those showdowns, there's something a problem he has to solve. They're all solved in ridiculous, goofy ways, but there's still hoops he has to jump through.
There's a clear goal,
Mm-hmm.
and he has clear obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a story. That's what a story is.
I'm not sure. I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, I don't know if this is my fault, but like I can't tell you what the goal these characters were trying to achieve outside of like the brain thing with a floppy disk and something like that.
Well, from what I
had
got,
a hard time. I'm saying is I had a really hard time following.
I had a hard time following, half because the audio, I couldn't hear them most of the time.
Yeah.
And two, because I think some of the stuff they were saying was convoluted. Even if it was intentionally convoluted, it didn't come off that way.
Yeah. Like a Blade Runner, because it opens with Blade Runner kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that is kind of known for being a hard to follow film.
Right.
So like I could see them trying to go for that sort of thing.
That's
but
what
don't
I
know.
was thinking. I did like, actually, by the way, this shot since we're here. This reminds me of Andrew Cronenweth, I think is his name. I don't remember. The cinematographer for Blade Runner. He said that he uses unmotivated light all the time, and this was clearly one of those things.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. Anyway, So you were saying about how it copies the Blade Runner style, in maybe they're doing intentional convoluted plots. I could say that from the very beginning, I did understand. I believe that HOPLITE is a is what this guy is, our
And
Afro dude.
That's special.
Yeah, that he's
It's
special
a
somehow.
special thing called a hoplite.
And that one of them is kidnapped, and they need to save him. That's what I got. And maybe this guy, I think, comes out of retirement because I think that's what they said.
Yeah.
Even though he was training in the beginning, but
No, that was like therapy.
Tai Chi.
Yeah, he was just doing that for like tranquility of mind.
I love that shot. Too.
Yeah, I love a lot of the cinematography. in
I
this.
like the cast too.
The
Yeah,
cast
and the cast is
awesome.
great.
I think
Yeah.
it has a great cast.
Yeah.
And I also like the timer in the film. I like that the time comes up every now and again.
I didn't like that at all.
No,
No.
it gave it a sense of urgency to me.
Maybe a sense. I don't know. What happens when the timer counts down? I mean, what?
His head explodes.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Something like that.
I
that's
didn't
what they
get that.
said.
I
They
didn't
said
get
his
that.
brain would explode at the end of 24 hours.
Yeah. God, I just love the cinematography here so much. The locations and everything were awesome.
And this guy was like a
This guy was-
great bad guy.
Yeah, he was too good.
He was too good, actually.
Yeah.
Because he ended up being more developed than our hero.
Yeah.
He was more interesting.
He was.
In fact, he's the most interesting thing in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the.
And some of the characters were just not interesting at all. I mean, the woman who saws off the guy's arm,
Yeah.
it just felt like a gimmick that was shoehorned in there for no purpose at all.
Yeah. Yeah. That it was kind of funny because when that happened, I was like, oh, hey, a genuinely funny part.
Yeah, this was it.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
then
right here.
they never really did that again.
Yeah, but it didn't. It wasn't.
There was a couple of funny
You
parts.
didn't find it
No.
funny?
No.
I found it funny.
No, it felt like they were trying.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's my biggest takeaway of what I didn't like about this film is that it felt contrived.
Yeah.
It felt like they were deliberately it didn't feel organic. Like the actual definition of contrived is
Right.
something that arises inorganically, and that's kind of how this felt. It felt like a giving in to the 80s retro thing because that's a popular thing to do,
Because
And-
that was the
and-
intent of the
doing nothing with it really.
script, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know, this movie doesn't add anything different to that genre.
Well, that is interesting that you say that. Like, because while we were watching it, I did get the sense that everybody who worked on this film, because it felt like it's a very big production.
Its
know.
scope is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really put a lot
Yeah.
into this.
It made me feel like everything was planned so much and then just done, right? Like, so, like, okay, we're gonna go out and we're gonna shoot this, make sure we get nothing wrong, shoot it, and then we come back and make it.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't ever feel like someone was like, it didn't feel like there was any experimentation or
Yeah.
risks taken or anything like that. And in that way, it didn't feel like art in a sense.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It did really feel like somebody wanted to make an 80s throwback thing. And maybe that's all it was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it feels contrived, is because the person who wanted to make it had this idea for a long time and then did it. And that's it.
So the other big concern for this to me is that it ends with Hoplite will return,
Yeah.
right? So, and again, this is like part one of a series.
Well, or it's just doing the whole Avengers thing.
Yeah, I got the feeling like it's supposed to be a series. Maybe I'm wrong.
I hope not.
I think it is. But that being said, if this was meant to be part one of a series, then it missed the central function of all part ones of all series, which is character development. It's setting all your pieces in order
Right.
and making you care about them enough to stick around for part two. And I couldn't. There just wasn't enough there to make an opinion about anyone.
Yeah.
If
no, I would
if you
agree.
would have asked me why Longshanks is a bad guy and why Mr. Hoplite here is a good guy, I don't have any answer.
Right.
I can't tell you why.
Right. One of the things that I think that they missed with the whole 80s recreation thing is the idea where we have a stupid sob story behind the person's, for their backstory. For them, I was in such a hardship and that's why I am who I am now. Like, it's so silly to look at it back then, and that's funny that they didn't include it because that's what they needed. even something like that would have made us at least understand a little bit
The
more.
closest thing to developing the main character was when he had like a brief flashback of being in war with the other guy.
Oh yeah,
They just show
I
like
like that.
all they show is like
Oh, right.
explosions
Yeah.
and like the sounds
It's like
of
a
gunshots.
Vietnam
And
flashback.
I go, oh, okay, so he was in war and he knew this guy there, but that's as far as it got.
Yeah. Well, I would defend that a little bit because I did like their use of it. I liked how it was very subtle and
No, I'm just, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's the only background we got on that character.
right. No, you're right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Um,
The aesthetic is
and
so
like
cool.
we couldn't tell this super corporation phalanx. He's a part of it. She's a part of it. I don't know if they're like an evil court. I loved that, by the way. They did a lot of fun editing
I
stuff.
thought that was so silly
I,
because the sword is obviously bigger than their first sword that they pulled out, and then it's like waving in the air while he puts it to his neck because it's rubber or foam or whatever. I thought that was funny.
So Kung Fury, like this movie, again, it's like a jack of all trades where it's not like it's trying to be ridiculous and like, oh, 80s movies aren't they so corny, but it doesn't really like what was funny about Kung Fury is it took those little tropes and over the top things to ridiculous absurdity where like a dude puts his skateboard underneath a cop car and kicks it and the cop car goes flying in the air and then they shoot the cop car in the air and then his partner's like a rhino but with like a humanoid body
Right.
like stuff like that where it's just really over the top.
Yeah.
And this was kind of plain. This was plain. That's what it was. I needed combination.
Something else.
Yeah, to bring back the Takis pizza metaphor. It needed to needed lots of stuff on it. It needed
See,
this was just dough.
something like that right there.
This was just bread.
This was just dough.
I don't know. I feel like we're being hard on this movie. Really,
I think so too. This was funny, but it didn't make sense in the context. Like everything else was, everything else seemed almost serious, and that was one of the things that we talked about 80s recreations was that you should be serious and show that everything is absurd by being super serious. Like in Kung Fury, we were talking about how everything in that movie, they took themselves super seriously. Like you could tell the actors were invested in the world. Mm-hmm. They weren't laughing at themselves the whole time. And so when we have this little nod where it says hack brain, and then hacktivated, like it's a nod going, aren't we silly? When the whole thing, it's not really silly, and the whole thing's not really super crazy.
yeah, it's like they couldn't decide if they wanted to go Kung Fury or Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Can you rewind a second?
Yeah.
I have the ultimate nitpick.
Yes!
The ultimate nitpick
Here we go.
in the world.
Here we go.
Okay, so you see there's a close up of his eyes and you see the computer screen
Oh yeah,
in his
I
eyes
love that
here.
shot.
Yeah, so watch this. Once it comes up here, I'll be a moment. So
Oh, man.
okay, so see it's in his eyes
Mm-hmm.
and they tracked it to his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And when he looks to I guess would be his left, it would the reflection tracks with his eye, but
Oh,
that
does it?
wouldn't happen with a real reflection. A real reflection, it would stand still. It wouldn't follow
That's
his
a pretty big nitpick.
his iris. Yeah, just saying.
Well, I'm done with this film now. Jeez, that eye thing.
This
That's one step too far.
the cinematography here, I freaking loved, as all of us did.
They also pulled off a shot in this that I'd been dreaming up in my head for years, which is the POV through the gunshot through the head.
Yeah, at the end there.
Yeah,
that was
right
really
through the hole
nice.
through the skull. I had that. I saw that shot in a dream I had once, where I was being attacked by terrorists. Yeah, my dreams have awesome cinematography. The performances aren't very motivated.
Aren't very motivated.
No.
I love the use of floppy disks and of just retro tech. I love the costumes. I love the locations. I love everything about this except for the way it was done.
Yeah, execution and writing.
Yeah.
I think the reason we're being hard on this film, and to the maker of this film, sorry we're being hard, but not sorry. There's the shot. Actually, my first question for you is I want to hear how you made this shot.
Yeah,
That's great. I love
What
that.
did you build here that's dripping? And I would love to see a photograph of what that all looked like, on set, because that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But I think the reason we're being hard on this film is because the near misses hurt much more than a flat out failure.
Yeah.
Like movies that we just watched and they were just bad from top to bottom.
Yeah.
We don't talk about very long.
Not really.
We don't. But a film that had so much going for it, it hurts that it's just
Right.
not quite there.
It had a ton of potential is what it was. And everything that happened was so good that makes us want it to be all the way good, or all the way good to what we're thinking.
It's almost like it's like shining a brighter light so that the flaws show up more clearly.
That's funny.
Like the better the rest of the film is, the more it highlights the problems it has.
Right. That's super true. Yeah. This film doesn't have some of the errors that we've pointed out in other films where we're like, what was this character's motivation for standing a certain way, or why was this character acting this way when they were dressed this way?
Continuity problem.
Yeah, or continuity, or like we don't have things hanging on the wall. We don't have things on the ground that look too new for its time. Like those are issues that this does not have.
All the technical stuff of this movie is like nailed.
It's on point.
Yeah.
Locations are rad too. There's some cool locations.
And the fact that they did a miniature.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
I mean, that's just amazing. And this shot, by the way, was perfect. A perfect shot.
That
perfect
haze.
Although there was one thing I didn't like is when they cut back and forth here, there was no geography in our other shot, so we can't tell where he is in relation to him.
Oh,
but still, perfect shot. Otherwise,
I think I saw a behind the scenes photo of the miniature on Reddit, r/filmmakers.
Oh yeah.
Or I'm misremembering and it's a different film.
It's a different guy.
Yeah, but I remember seeing some kind of photo of a miniature. It kind of looked like that. So was that you? Because that got a lot of attention on Reddit. And I remember seeing that and I was like, man, that's awesome. It actually inspired me. I was like, what? I want to do that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so much of this. Like, I'm seriously jealous of this shot, by the way.
I'm jealous of this whole movie. I mean, if nothing else.
That's why we're being so hard.
Yeah. Well, no, seriously. It's like, when we finished watching it, I immediately thought, it immediately inspired me. Like, we have a new series that we might be doing.
What did you just say?
Shh.
A new series?
Shut up.
Leaked.
In this theoretical new series that might happen.
Hypothetical.
I was thinking of a short that was inspired from the aesthetic here, and it was done so well here that I was like, wow, I got to do something like that. So, congrats and hats off to like everything you did. It was amazing. So please don't take our
yeah, don't take it
bad
personally.
comments personally.
There's a
disclaimer
for that.
Take it personally.
Take it.
It is. We're not just saying it for our health.
I didn't like, by the way, how this TV in the background was the same the same little off air static.
Anything else? Got questions or anything?
What was your inspiration for doing this, Kirk? What was your inspiration?
I think Kirk was his last name.
Yeah, Mr. Kirk.
Mr. Kirk.
Okay. Because I really like what you did, but yeah, I do want to know why you did it.
Was this planned as part one of a series? And are you making more? And if so, do you feel like you learned anything from it that you'll do differently next time around? And how else have people received this? Have other people said similar things as to what we're saying, or are we coming completely at it, like out of nowhere? Does this shock you completely? I'd love to hear that.
What camera did you use?
What camera did you use?
Your turn.
Was that your post on Reddit?
The miniature one.
I would actually like to see more behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if that's in the description or not,
but man, you got some chops. Seriously.
Yeah.
You got some chops.
How many people did that bit take?
30.
Okay.
Great.
Just 30, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like hard work, and for the most part was executed really, really well.
Yeah.
You know, we're just getting tripped up on mostly writing.
Yeah,
It's
mostly writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okie dokie. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. All right, so our second one is called Palau.
Palau.
And it's directed by Warren Wagner.
Warren. That's hard to say.
Warren Wagner.
Warren.
Lauren.
WW. Warren. Okay,
Are
so
we gonna watch it or what?
yeah, what is wrong with you, man?
Oh, I'm just tired. Okay.
Drink your mate. Shut up.
Hey, let's go. Come on. Play the movie.
We're back.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, that was really quick.
Hey,
Hey, Taylor, how's it going?
good.
Cool.
This film spawned one of our infamous arguments where we argue about film theory for an hour
Yeah.
and then ultimately end up with the same conclusion and realize that we were just arguing the same points.
That's what good films do.
Yeah.
Yeah, make you argue the same point.
I really loved how they did their credits at the beginning.
I did
thought
too.
That was really fun.
Yeah, I like that.
I love this movie.
This was
Honestly?
a good movie.
Loved it.
This was quite good.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. This was
All right. So our next film is
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
But you're going first, so go ahead.
This is a movie that hypocritically I famously said in previous episodes where I hate dialogue in movies.
dialogue driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, I lied. I love dialogue movies. When they're the thing is, I love them when they're done. I love any movie when it's done good. It doesn't matter at all what kind of style it is. It doesn't matter at all to me as long as it's done well.
What does that mean?
Well,
What does it mean? Done good, done well. What does
I
that
don't
mean?
know. Just
Yeah,
that is a personal taste, subjective thing. To me, I thought it was good because I felt like I never got the sense. Only a couple times did I get the sense that these characters were talking to the audience. I felt like these characters were actually talking to each other and actually learning about each other rather than talking to each other for the sake of the audience following along. And I felt like there was a true, a genuine story being told here that the filmmaker wanted to tell. And I loved the performances from these characters. And the
I love
just
that.
like that right there. And I like the arc that it goes through. I think the biggest flaw of it is, I think what Dee can talk about probably a little more than I could, is the cinematography.
The cinematography.
Which is not
Which is
like
great.
it's not bad cinematography.
No, it's not.
But it's
But
but what's the but? Dee?
Well, yeah, it's not. The whole thing is not visual storytelling. Like you said, it's dialogue driven.
Yeah.
And so when we have shots where we have, when they start going outside is where it starts getting a little weird, because
that's true.
we start having shots like this, and like
Or like
it's
what-
zooming out.
yeah, like why are we
Visually.
zooming? We have where was that one shot?
where they
The pan or the
where
tilt.
they tilt
The tilt,
down.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's shots like that where it's just it feels unmotivated. It feels like, okay, now we're doing this shot because it's what movies
Gotta
do.
show something.
We got to show something, right? So it felt like the
Can't just point a
cinematographer.
camera.
Well, it felt like, I think you said during our watch, you were saying it it feels like the cinematographer was like, okay, so what do I do here? And they're like, just point the camera. And he's like, no, I can't. Let's do this.
There's another one.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels unmotivated.
Yeah.
And because we're not doing anything visual storytelling wise, there's no point to the shot. So.
Yeah.
So, to throw a little water in your face.
Yeah, do it.
Visual storytelling. I think we can use that word a couple ways.
Sure.
I'd still say that this is visual storytelling. We couldn't just strip out the audio and get the same experience as you do watching this, where you can see the chemistry between these two people, watch their faces, see the way they use eyebrows and body posture and the distance between them. That is all still visual storytelling. The difference is that the key performers in this instance are the actors. And in some films, the performer is the cinematographer. And in some films, the performer is clearly the writer.
Yeah.
In this one, this is all about their performance and the dialogue that they're delivering to each other, which means the cameraman would have better served the film by getting out of the way.
Yeah.
By being as minimalist as possible.
Absolutely.
And allowing them to shine without any sort of distracting camera moves.
The best stuff in here is in the coffee shop.
Yep.
Where the camera
where it was all basic. This is
it.
like textbook,
Yeah.
right?
Where it serves as just looking at them one each, you know?
Yeah.
And it's because it's not, because that's motivated.
It's well lit also.
Yeah, and it's well lit. You're watching them talk to each other, and that's all it needs. And really, I think this would have been better, actually, had it been all just within the coffee shop.
Yeah, they didn't have to go out. I mean, they did that whole thing with the snow angel thing, but...
Yeah.
Were there any tracking shots in this?
I don't think so.
Maybe that's what was missing. That could have been
more.
Because that's motivated. You'd be following them.
This person in the background cracks me up right here. They stay in the same pose. They just changed pose as soon as I said that. But they look like a statue. It's really funny.
There was a line in here that made me feel emotions.
That's rare.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had those.
I didn't know either. That's crazy.
It's kind of crazy. It's when the guy was like, let's just I won't go to Palau with you, but let's stay in touch, all right? I'll see you at the wedding tomorrow, and we'll stay in touch. And then the guy is like, all right. He's like, yeah, fine, okay. And then kind of walks around, and he's like, maybe we'll have coffee again when we're 40, and then walks off. And I was like, oh, man.
Ooh.
My gut. Oh,
It's
man.
a coming of age film.
Yeah, so
Coming
true.
of middle age.
Coming of middle age. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, actually.
I see these kinds of genres of film all the time, and not gay film by genre. That was weird, by the way. I was wondering why they.
I have a thing to say about that.
We will get to that.
Yes.
But the writing here, I feel like this kind of film is always the kind that I see in film festivals, and it's the one where someone has a personal story to tell. They decide to get a camera to record it, and then turn it into a movie. And the whole movie aspect seems obligatory. It seems like they could have just told the same story in almost any medium. And I feel like the camera work didn't even need to be there,
Why choose film to tell this story?
Right. Exactly.
I think there's an obvious answer to that.
But then why not make it a stage play?
Well, you could.
Yeah, but why did he do a film?
Because
it's
you can't take stage play everywhere with you.
Yeah, I know, but
You can't send stage
we're
play
talking
to your
about-
mother-in-law.
we're talking about art here.
We're talking about the story that wanted to be told.
Yeah, if we're gonna throw in obligations.
No, I know.
And
I
checkboxes.
still think this should be a movie. I completely agree with the unmotivated camera work that got in the way, but the fact is that you can have a closeness to a character. You don't in a stage play. You don't get this shot here where we're looking over the shoulder at his face.
Yeah.
Is one of a kind. You can't get that anywhere else where I feel like I'm in their conversation.
Yeah.
It's as if I'm in between the two of them right now, and you can't have that intimacy with anything else. And this was an intimate moment between two people who'd been apart for a long time, remembering what their relationship used to be. I don't know that you could have gotten that same kind of closeness in any other way.
I think you could. I think you could with an audiobook. I think you could with just a book by itself. I think you could have that same
maybe,
kind of
but you'd be
empathy.
telling a completely different.
No,
Yeah.
you a different experience.
Yes,
Yes,
you would.
completely different experience.
Exactly.
But not a completely different story.
Maybe you could say that with all stories.
Yeah,
you could write a
say
book.
that with every story. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
you could. But I mean,
the-
that's why we have movie adaptation of books. But that's the reason why they mostly suck, is because the story that they told was a specific experience.
Yeah, I think this is a moot point. Moot. Completely moot.
It's not. It's just
It is because there's no a story itself does not dictate the medium.
I think it does.
Why?
I agree, honestly.
I think it does because that's
How?
That's the way art is.
No, that's the opposite of how
no,
art
no,
is.
I don't think Blade Runner 2049 could have been written. You know,
Sure could.
No,
It would be entirely different.
I think it'd be a completely different
Of
experience.
course.
Same with
Because it would be a book.
same with
But
the
that's the
movie.
Yes. That is the point.
What is your point?
What
It'd be the same story. You'd experience it completely differently.
It would be completely different, but it's the idea is served better in different formats. Like some ideas work better as movies. Some
Right.
ideas work better as books.
No, some ideas work better in certain ways in certain mediums. It's not like you couldn't have the
Isn't that
same
what I just
idea. No, but we're not having an argument because, I could make a novel of Blade Runner that is a totally mind-blowing, weird, out there, amazing novel that tells the same story that gives you a completely different experience than
Yeah.
you would have watching it as a movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it was a better idea for a movie.
Maybe
or
not
better for
but
a book.
I think you could say that idea, say in the Blade Runner thing, is better served in the movie because
That just depends on the audience.
I mean, I guess it does, really. I mean,
Yeah.
in my eyes, I think a lot of people watch movies because they like engaging their eyeballs as opposed to just hearing a lot of things.
Yeah, I think it's about more of being immersed, of having an immersive passive experience is why you watch a movie.
Yeah, less about looking.
Well, when you read a book, you create a lot of context yourself using your imagination to fill in the gaps, whereas the movie is like you're being there, right? But which language you decide to tell the story has nothing to do with the story itself. It has to do with your intention of how you want to touch people.
Yeah, I suppose it would. No, it definitely does. It definitely does. And we can probably go around in circles forever.
Because the point is moot.
Yeah, well,
Moot.
you can say that.
Can you say it?
No.
Well, it's a fun word. Moot.
No, I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, what were you saying about?
Well, hang on. To keep going in circles real quick.
This is why the table's a circle.
Right.
David Lynch always talks about this. And I love the way David Lynch talks about art and how he approaches art. And I don't think it's an audience thing. I think it's an artist thing where he says this is related, but I don't know how it exactly ties exactly in. But it's just, he says when he gets an idea, it's just an idea that is formless. It's mediumless. And he says he lets that idea just simmer in his head. And then he says it either the idea will turn into a movie. He tries to figure out which medium to translate this idea best in. So I mean, like, he's a painter, he's a musician, and he's a filmmaker, and he gets ideas and he'll go like, okay, this idea is best for a painting, this idea is best for an album, maybe this idea will be a movie.
Right.
And it all depends on how he has to translate the idea.
Right.
So that's just a really interesting thought that I like.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to.
It's
Yeah.
always dependent on the artist.
So it comes down to how, but my point is that it comes down to how the artist wants to express the story.
Yeah.
It doesn't come down to the content of the story itself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. let's continue.
All right. It is amazing,
hold on,
by
hold
the
on.
way.
No, sorry.
It is amazing how much heated debate this film
Oh yeah.
has created between
Yeah.
us
I
in
love
the
that.
It's
last
insane.
24 hours.
Mhm.
Because, like, you would not expect this film to be the one to get us
Yeah.
so riled up, which is nuts.
I know.
right?
Yeah. It's a pretty tame film.
It's a very tame film. By the way, filmmakers, dear filmmakers who are posting their work on YouTube, please stop cheapening your art by putting all this context
The qualification.
and qualifications in the title.
yeah.
Just let your movie be.
Yeah.
Let people experience it without preconceptions or expectations. So I bring that up because on YouTube, in the title for this one, it had the title, and then it said gay short film.
Gay short, something like that. Short
Now,
film.
like in the turn, first of all, I don't like the idea of having gay film be a
a
Like its
separator.
own genre.
a genre,
Right.
itself, because
It should just be a drama.
It's just a
shouldn't
drama
have
that-
to
it's a
have
drama that
about
happens to have
sexual orientation.
I mean, and in this case, it's just a character happens to be gay and mentions it maybe two times, right?
It's not even really.
I mean, it's a
whole
part.
point, right?
It's a part of the character. Obviously, it's an important part of the character.
Yeah.
But no one's coming to this film being like, "I need this to speak to my gay experience," right? I mean, maybe, but I felt like that title was meant because these classifications do work and have a place for when you're, say, submitting to a gay film festival.
Yeah.
And that's totally cool, but
you know, it'll get you more views too, because people aren't going to search Palau. People are going to search gay short films. That's what people are going to search,
yeah,
and then that'll come up.
I mean, in that sense, it's hard to say because we talk about things like, if racism is
Racism?
Yeah. Things like racism and.
Sorry,
Is that okay?
sorry. I just thought it was
Can I
funny.
say a different word?
No. It's just we were talking about gay.
Yes. Gay is racist. Gay is a race.
Okay.
continue.
No. Okay. So, what's the word when you're separating others from yourself? You know what I mean?
Segregation.
Yes. But there's another word, isn't there? When you're being this kind of person? No?
Divisive.
Sure. So when you're one of the things we had talked about before is if someone wants racism to stop, they stop talking about racism, right? One of the things we've talked about before is if you want to stop having separation, you stop talking about the separation. When you keep talking about it, you keep saying that it's a thing, and therefore we have to keep building it up. Having film festivals like gay short film festivals, LGBTQ film festivals, stuff like that, acknowledges that there's a separation and keeps that separation there by talking about it. And I feel like that's kind of the line that we're hugging here when we're talking about things like this shouldn't be a item, shouldn't be a genre, because we're saying those
Yeah,
boundaries need to come down. It just needs to be just
It's stuff that should
art.
just go without saying,
right.
basically.
And I think
Maybe
I
that's
think-
perfect world stuff.
That-
but I do agree. I was more bringing up the point. Did I mess it up?
Yeah, it's ruined.
Dang,
not
sorry.
going back.
Sorry.
Dang.
I mainly brought up this point because I don't like when qualifiers are put into titles that change the way our expectation for the movie. Whereas the movie should introduce exposition
Yeah.
through performance and visuals. That exposition should come out of the movie,
Yeah.
not through a parenthetical next to the title. Big example of this is we've had a couple of film submissions that were from 48-hour film festivals. And there in the title they put name of the film and then a 48-hour film festival submission, which now makes it impossible for us to look at this film as a film. We're going to look at it as a 48-hour film festival submission, and we're going to say things like, well, that was pretty good for 48 hours.
Yeah.
It's because you can't judge it fairly at that point. When you're saying things like, well, you should have had a much bigger production at this point. You should have spent at least 30 days on the previs alone.
Yeah.
When we can't say things like that for 48-hour film festivals. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, and then and in the case of this, I could see people being like, well, that wasn't really a gay film.
Yeah.
Was it? I don't know. Or if you're looking for something specific, that could be misleading. It also could maybe persuade some people not to watch it at all because they have the wrong idea of what gay cinema means.
Right. I think that's part of the intent here, though, is to with that kind of context, is to, like, people who don't want to watch these kinds of movies or something like that, to shout in their face that, hey, this is a gay short film,
And that could mean more than what you think.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what their intent is. But I do side with you in saying that because those qualifiers are weird. It's weird to have any kind of qualifier in movies like that. And that's just how I feel about short films in general.
What was the film that came out this year that, like, the whole marketing campaign was, like, seriously tone deaf, and it was like the whole marketing was like, it's about a guy and he's gay.
What was that called?
And I'm just like, man, that was a thing maybe in the mid 90s.
Yeah,
that would have been
really
like a really forward thinking progressive movie.
No,
but
it was one of those things where
something Adam, or
I don't remember what it was
it
called.
was someone's name.
But
we have to talk about Kevin.
Is that what? No.
That's another movie that's
another-
entirely different.
When the trailer came out for that film, I remember thinking if this trailer was just a regular movie trailer, it might look interesting and I might want to go see it. But if you're just going to say, it's the biggest gay film and everything, and go see it because it's about gay people, and I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah,
What's the film about?
Yeah, they're like, and he has one big secret. He's gay.
yeah, right. I'm like, what?
It's like, who cares?
What? Okay.
It's fine. But what's the film about?
Yeah, what's
No, don't you get it? It's about a guy and he's gay. He's gay.
He's gay though.
I don't care.
I don't care. It's like you don't see a lot of movies that come out that say, but he's black.
Yeah.
But he's Asian.
Yeah. But he has one big secret. He's black. It's a secret.
How do you keep that under wraps?
White face. Constant white face. Sorry, this is getting weird. I'm sorry. I took it.
White face.
Oh, we're spiraling.
It's only 2 movies in. We're already like dying.
Anyway, yeah. So to get back to the film at hand, I think it was really, really well written, really, really well acted.
Yeah.
This is a great movie.
And
honestly, this is a great movie.
Straight up, like one of the best short stories that I've
so
seen
this
from,
if this kind of character development could have been infused in the previous film, it would have been a masterpiece.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, this is the kind of thing that makes every movie special. Like, all the greatest movies take the time to make you feel like you know a character, help you create a sense of empathy with a character, come to love or hate that character. So then there are stakes when things happen to them later.
Right. And this was so deep in empathy that, I mean, like you said, there was a gut punch at the end. I mean, we were there with him the whole time. So
very well done.
Really nice. Thank you, Warren. Let's move on to our third one. Unless you guys have. Oh, there was one more shot. Don't go anywhere. One more shot.
Fine.
This was funny. He sits down with his coffee, and the lid is on the coffee, and then he drinks it, and the lid's off of the coffee.
Oh, no.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
I take back everything I
Ho,
said.
ho, ho.
I take it all back.
Look.
Okay.
Look, is it?
Oh my gosh.
No.
It's done. It's done. This movie sucks. Look at this. He sets it down. Back on.
I was so in with this movie, and
Sucks.
I'm out.
Jeez.
I'm out
This movie
now.
sucks. Oh my god. Okay, so third film.
Are you sure? I guess it was.
I'm not going to try it again.
Yeah.
If not, then I'm a fool.
Yeah, you can defend that, by the way, if D's wrong.
If D's wrong, D's not wrong. D's never wrong.
D is.
Let's face it, I'm always right.
D is often wrong.
Okay.
You heard what he said earlier about stories,
Right. Which I was
which
right
was
when
a
I said
moot
that.
point.
It's not a moot point. A moo point. Like a cow's opinion.
Moot.
It doesn't matter.
Moot.
Okay, our third film. Shoot, I need to get the
Number 3.
number. There we go. Okay, stories. Okay. So, okay, our third one, number 3, is Kurt. Is called "Stories of the Subconscious Mind" by Kurt Dennis.
Kurt Douglas.
Kurt Denis.
Denny.
Denny.
Dennis.
The link
Dennis
is in the
Denis.
description. Please click it, watch it, come right back.
Click it, watch it, come back. Click it, watch it, come back.
Come back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back. D.
Hello, Devon.
Hi. How's
Tell
it
us
going?
what you thought about this movie.
Stories of the Subconscious Mind. I really, really, really liked this movie. Really liked it. And I'm just noticing just now that I think they used a high shutter speed throughout the entire thing. I think that's odd choice. Yeah, dude, I really like this film. Like, it's kind of funny because I'm such an advocate for things like stories and I don't know, like design elements, stuff like that. But I think what I really liked about this so much is that it was very visually based, and especially coming off of the other film that was very
Yep.
dialogue heavy.
Yep.
This one was almost solely visual, and it just made me just really want to get into it and start deciphering, and I got my mind into it, and I loved it. I really enjoyed the journey.
I thought it was scary.
It was scary.
Like,
Yeah.
it got to a point where it was kind of scary.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, I loved this movie. This movie was awesome. Like, I loved the idea that she's like, just the whole idea of the story of a therapist going into your mind,
Dude.
You know?
And there's so much you could do wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to take, because I feel like this is a kind of story that myself, when I was like very young, would come up with all the time. And of course, me coming up with this kind of story is just like, it feels almost, I don't want to make fun of the Matrix when I say this, but it feels very Matrixy. It feels very 8th grade cool.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we went inside someone's mind and did this and did that?
Yeah, it's funny. I've always felt that way about Inception, which is
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
But I also feel like an 8-year-old
Right.
would say, "What if we made it like it was a dream, and then you woke up, but you were still dreaming, and then that's in a dream too. It's like a
Right.
dream and a dream and a dream. Like, how would you even know?
So like, I love it when ideas like that are taken
Are actually done well.
and done well.
Yeah.
It's so great, and that's what I liked about that movie Arrival, and I think that's what this person did so well. I'm comparing you to Arrival.
That's high.
Well,
praise.
he is Denis.
He is Denis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, is this the same guy?
Yeah.
Are you Denis Villeneuve?
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 Go.
That was an odd sound effect.
I have this this thought in my head.
You have a thought in your
Yeah,
head?
I can't get her out.
Be gone, man. Be gone, thought.
and that's that.
It's an edgy episode.
Like any idea in any story, any idea or concept for a movie, I think has the potential to be an amazing movie. Like, no matter how ridiculous, corny, or cheesy,
Yeah.
Say that again?
any idea for a movie
Could be a good
can,
What did you do?
has the potential.
How did you speak through Taylor? That was weird.
Yeah.
Are you a ventriloquist?
No, I'm more of an interpreter. I help people understand Taylor.
Wow.
Yeah. Go ahead, say something.
So
That's Taylor just explaining that he thinks that really any idea could be a good movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, so
I don't know if that goes without saying, actually, or if that's like obvious, but I feel like Like, anything could be done.
Yeah.
Some
Like,
of the
with
most
the right
profound
finesse,
things
you know?
are obvious.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's why I liked
Ooh.
so much.
Deep.
That's why I really like movies like Blade Runner and Annihilation and all these sci-fis that have been coming out, because sci-fi has always been given a bad rap. And Mad Max also was
Yeah.
one. Dude, okay, sorry, I'm gonna go completely off the track here. We'll get back to your movie, but I want to talk about Mad Max real quick.
Fine. Anything goes.
No, so in this idea that any idea can be turned into a movie, Mad Max does this with one of the stupidest ideas I think possible, where you're just people who are driving in cars and
Talk about an 8-year-old idea.
Yeah. Where and water is like a scarce source and everything. Like, you might want to plug in your PC.
Don't tell me what to do.
All right. Yeah. So Mad Max does it, and like you said, yeah, definitely like an 8-year-old idea, basically. But they took it and did everything they could to make it super engaging to almost all audiences, And I love that idea that you can take any movie or any idea, like you said, and basically inject it with stuff that makes it engaging,
Yeah.
that you can put it in, you can build empathy with people and put it
Yeah.
into like this kind of storytelling thing.
That's the magic you inject into the movie.
And this
Love it.
movie is so, the idea of going into someone's mind to like visually, representationally destroy depression or whatever manifestation of personal darkness this is an idea that could so easily be cliche and so easily be like first time filmmaker,
Absolutely.
cheesy, I'm 14 and this is deep.
I'm 14,
kind of
this is
thing.
deep, yeah.
And but it doesn't, because it's executed with a performance that is genuine.
Yeah.
And
She's very good.
Yeah.
So is he.
So was he.
Yeah.
And cinematography that I felt was appropriate for the film and the look of the film and all the actions of it.
This was what... Hello?
I was ready. to kill
Katie's
somebody.
like,
Here we go.
here we go again.
The door is unlocked, geniuses.
So,
There's a murderer in here somewhere.
Now there's a murderer.
He knows that.
No girl has ever murdered anyone.
Nope.
okay,
All right.
listen here.
Here we go.
Okay. This movie works because it's not caught up and in love with its own idea, but it's caught up and focusing on a therapist character who wants to help this person.
The characters are the star of the story.
Yes.
What?
Whoa, that was...
What?
Magic.
So that's why it works, because she's a therapist. Her job is to help people. You can kind of infer that she's passionate about it because of the length she goes, and it feels really good because you believe it, and it's not like you kind of forget that the whole thing is like, oh, this is inside his head and it's not cool.
It's because it's empathetic.
Yeah.
Stories or movies are empathetic storytelling devices, and if you can connect with just about anyone if you get a character that's relatable and you talk about the human condition, and if you're not like you said, in love with your idea, you keep referencing it and having it about the idea, then you get away from the characters.
And you began rooting for her really early. Like,
Yeah.
before she goes into his subconscious, you're like, yeah, I want her to succeed with him.
Yeah.
And because you're on her side, you feel the fear that, like, I really had anxiety for her safety.
Yeah.
Especially when the nail goes through her hand and it's revealed that this has consequences in the real world.
Yeah.
That's interesting, by the way. So we talk about stakes a lot, and emotional stakes, I think, are much, much greater than physical
Cool
stakes.
makeup, by the way.
That does have cool
Yeah.
makeup. When she was in here and he has nails and everything, like, the first thing that I'm thinking is there's nothing possibly that could be wrong, but I'm still really afraid that she's gonna get attacked. Maybe she disappears from the world then, and she can't. And maybe she has to start over or something like that. But, like, I'm really, really rooting for her despite not knowing if she can die. and it really doesn't matter, and I really really like that because the emotional stakes were so high, and that's that should be something that people should understand more when they make films.
I really liked his inner demon, inner darkness, whatever this character is inside the psyche. I loved it being this creature, we call it the monster, the internal monster, being this like blind force that is almost all just impulse and instinct.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like a clear intention. He follows a stick
right
to go see what it is.
Right.
The idea of that being the thing that like is making us crazy, that we all have buried deep inside of us, like really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. You were gonna say?
Well, that idea adds a lot of it makes it pretty complex, that character, because he does work as an antagonist kind of force, but it's more nuanced than that because of you seeing this guy in the real world, outside of his mind. You see him and he's like he doesn't even know what's really wrong with him. Like he's there and he's like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with me. He seems like a really nice guy, and then you get inside his head and you see this demon that he has inside of him.
Some terrible stuff in there.
And you can you don't just go like, oh, that's bad. You go, this is not a healthy thing, and how do we fix it?
Yeah.
Not like, this is evil, it must be vanquished.
Right.
Kind of a thing.
And one of the things that I really liked too was that her being a therapist and all gave him like this, gave the creature the iPod or her phone or whatever. And it's like a temporary fix.
Yeah.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like a Band-Aid.
And to me it also suggested that this was only the beginning.
Yeah.
She didn't solve the problem. There was a whole pile of notebooks back there.
Right.
She ripped out a page of one of them, and that was enough progress for today. Right? So it's like she goes through this kind of stuff all the time.
Right.
And it takes a lot to battle their way back.
Right.
It's kind of heavy.
It's very This is a deep, pretty deep film.
I love when he gets the music and he sits down on the tree and he just peacefully listens to music, because I love that it implies that he's not just trying to hurt people for the sake of hurting people. Like I mean, he's just
he actually has nuance to his character.
Yeah.
That he's not just a plain evil being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he likes music, and it kind of relaxes him.
Yeah.
And that's what he sits down and just listens to some music.
Did you notice all the papers with blood on them were sheet music?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's sheet music.
That's really cool.
With blood splatters. Or red paint splatters. Cool movie.
Yeah, I almost think this could be cooler as like a longer form piece.
I could see this being like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had that exact thought.
Yeah.
That it felt like a Black Mirror episode. I liked it a lot.
I did too.
So, questions?
It kind of sucks when we talk about really good films because we
don't have a lot to say. I mean, it's like we skip our the whole thing about microphones, right? Sound was great.
Oh, that was another thing, by the way. The score here was amazing.
Cool score, great sound.
Yeah.
Cinematography was what it should have been.
Which means good cinematography. You and I talked about this earlier.
Right.
Fifth and Main.
You can have cool camera things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's what it should be.
Being appropriate cinematography to your film.
Right. So questions. Yes. Do you have any questions? Why?
Why did you do this?
Like, why?
What are you thinking?
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
But really.
I would love to. I mean, and as the artist, you don't have to be obligated to. This could be left up to interpretation. But if it is something that you'd like to define, I would love to know some of the symbolism behind the notebooks, the pile of notebooks, the bloodstained sheet music, and how you would define what this version of him is inside of his internal world where he's like a blind force of rage that is all just reaction to stimulus. What are you trying to represent?
Yeah, is it like a specific mental illness, like
Right.
anxiety, depression?
Yeah, I mean that was basically my question. That
Same.
And as you, the artist, do you feel like you're telling the story of a therapist or the story of a person being treated
right.
with therapy?
So I'm wondering, are you
Who is
yourself
the
a
lens?
person who's been one of these other people? So, yeah.
Or telling the story of one or the other?
Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was a fun
really
movie to
liked
watch.
That one a lot. Yeah.
Um, so, do we have anything else to say, Mr. Kenny?
I just want to say, keep making short films, people.
Guys, if you don't already know, you can submit your own short film to us via our subreddit, r/Carmen Studios.
Yup.
You can also try to join our Facebook if we let you. If we let you. There's a Facebook group called Short Film Cooperative by us, Carmen Line Studios.
We do some cool stuff there. Basically, it's an expanded version of what we do here on Short Film Roundup.
Yeah.
We analyze short films. We talk about filmmaking theory, and just try to help each other become better filmmakers.
Basically, you can go on there and you can share as much as you want, just like we do, so it's not one-sided.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
And you can talk to other filmmakers and all that.
We do a cool live chat once a week,
Yeah.
where you could join us and have some fun.
Yeah, very cool. So we got we're all done here. So
Oh, we're done?
we're done here.
Oh.
So bye.
See, oh my god. Oh my god.